Diagnostics.
KATU is under a storm tracker weather alert tonight as very strong winds and below freezing temperatures blast western Oregon. This is a live look over Portland at this hour. Kind of tough to see there, no question. Started snowing in the metro area about 8 a.m. will continue tonight, but there's not much accumulation out there because it's a dry powder that's just being blown around at this point.
And Multnomah County reports, sadly, one suspected hypothermia death that happened this morning. County health officials would not confirm where that person died or if they were unhoused. Investigators say it could take weeks or even months to figure out the cause of the death and the person's identity.
Now, besides the bitter cold, one of the biggest developments today has been the wind knocking down all the trees out there. There are dozens, if not hundreds of trees down all across the metro area. So far, no reports of serious injuries, though firefighters have had to rescue several people who became trapped. And check out this huge tree down on Southeast Troutdale Road between Division and Streben Road. Multnomah County Road Service posted this about 2 o'clock this afternoon. It's blocking the entire road and took down some power lines. The county telling people to stay home if they possibly can.
And KATU's Mike Warner was in the live drive for hours this morning, captured miles of blowing snow. Roads were mostly passable, but visibility, as you can see, was poor, and at times it was hard for drivers to keep control because of hurricane-force wind gusts, especially in the gorge. Down in Salem, the roads had a layer of snow and ice, and that was one of the first areas to be affected. This is some video our crews got down there earlier today. You can see cars navigating those slick roadways really all morning.
And a viewer sent us this video of semi-trucks rolled over on I-5 about 15 miles north of Eugene. Yenny Lilly says there were a total of 4 trucks within a couple miles of each other. Just evidence of what that powerful wind is doing out there today. Good evening. Thanks a lot for joining us, everybody, for this special digital edition of KATU News. I'm Steve Dunn.
And I'm Wright Gazaway. Within the last few hours, a band of freezing rain, sleet, and snow lifted north over the metro area. Most of the precipitation is set to end before midnight tonight. Tomorrow, it will still be very cold.
Yeah, KATU's on your side with live team coverage for you. We're tracking the downed trees, the power outages, road closures, and of course, your forecast. We need to get right to KATU's Joe English in the Weather Center. And the big story here appears to be that cold weather and those high winds, Joe.
Yeah, so let's start with the good news. The east wind will be calming down overnight. Still blowing pretty hard, but it will get quieter overnight into Sunday. And we are starting now to see the back edge of this area of precipitation that has brought us the snow and the sleet and the freezing rain in some cases. And you can see on radar picture right now, Corvallis and Albany fairly dry for the moment. But that's where we're looking at the potential through the evening and overnight of freezing rain down to the south, the southern portion of the valley. Otherwise, we're talking about snow, and this is kind of swirling around here. So we're not done with it yet. Another inch or two of snow for us in the metro area. In the pink, we are still in a winter storm warning until 10 o'clock this evening. In the red out in the gorge, that is a blizzard warning, also until 10 o'clock. In the purple, that's winter weather advisory. So even along the coast, down to the beaches, you're seeing snow. This is where we're concerned about ice. Now, this is also just until about 10, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, midnight tonight, where you could see those icy conditions for the southern portion of the valley and the coast range as well. And those warnings and watches extend out to the east as well. Stoller Family Estates in Dayton, look at the 16 degrees right now, snow on the ground, still some snow. Still seeing some snowflakes falling along the coast. That's a live shot from the Inn at Spanish Head Resort Hotel in Lincoln City and from our Unico U.S. Bancorp Tower camera in downtown Portland, snowing and 16 degrees. One more look at our standard camera. You can't see anything out of that. It's just frosted over right now, and that will be the story overnight. Temperatures right now in the teens along the I-5 corridor, freezing or below, but look at this, 50 degrees in Florence, so warm down to the southern coast. There is some warm air out there. 0 and below 0 temperatures central and eastern Oregon. Winds still blowing 20 to 30 miles an hour from the west end of the gorge into the metro area, and we had gusts of 40, 50, 60 miles an hour, 70 and 80 mile an hour gusts through the afternoon for the west end of the gorge. Wind chill temperatures feels like out there single digits and below 0 temperatures. Wind gusts so far today, 46 mile an hour gust in Portland, but higher in the gorge, 50 to 55 to 60 degrees. Making your weather headlines, snow and sleet and freezing rain Tonight, much calmer on Sunday. Still cold, still a little windy out there. And then the wind picks up again on Monday. Here's our weather maker right now, and that will still bring some of that moisture in. Freezing rain, Central Valley down to the south, but by tomorrow morning and afternoon, we're looking much drier. Here's tomorrow morning, and then Sunday afternoon, we could even see some sunshine coming in. And then as we get that ridge of high pressure developing, on Monday, we're looking at sunshine, but still getting those east winds. So it's going to pick up. Maybe another couple inches of snow for us as we go through the next 6 hours or so. So this is not a deep accumulating snow event, and that will be done by tomorrow. So this is a Saturday evening, Saturday night end to all this weather. Your forecast tomorrow, on the coast, mostly sunny, partly cloudy for the valley, still cold. Still below freezing for high temperatures, and still wind chill figures down around 0 for us, and below 0 east of the Cascades as everybody dries out. Cascades and the Gorge, Central Oregon, overnight 3, 4, 5 inches of snow. And then we have a chance of freezing rain early Tuesday. Still not seeing those temperatures warm up much until the middle part of the week. 45 the high on Wednesday, so we could see a mix of snow showers and rain showers in the morning, and then back to normal with highs in the 40s, overnight temperatures only in the 30s. But all the snow that we have right now, it's going to stick around for several days. We just don't warm up that fast.
Should we go to Florence?
We should go to Florence. He's saying 50 degrees.
You could get a tea time down there.
He could get a tea time. Hey, Joe, thank you. This story just in tonight. The city of Lake Oswego has declared a state of emergency effective immediately. They're asking people to stay inside and off the roads. This includes avoiding entering parks and natural areas due to the threat of falling trees. They're also asking people to reserve their calls to 911 for life-threatening emergencies only. Again, that's out of the city of Lake Oswego. KATU's Allison Gottlieb is live outside a warming center now. And Allison, very tragic to have a possible hypothermia death already.
What did county officials tell you about how they're trying to keep people safe?
Yes, Steve, Wright. The Multnomah County officials say they opened 10 warming shelters, one of them being right behind me, Friendly's house on Northwest 26th Ave. Now, 5 sites already opened Friday with 350 people sheltered. The capacity across all 10 sites for tonight is 740 people. If the shelters do get to capacity, the county says they will not be turning anyone away. Street Outreach is also working to distribute hand warmers, hats, gloves, tents, and sleeping bags to protect many from the cold. The county's medical examiner did identify the possible hypothermia death earlier today, and investigators say confirmation will not be completed for several weeks to a month. The county will evaluate the need for shelters each day going forward as the forecast calls for below average temperatures. Now, the county does ask you to call 211 for information, 311 for non-emergencies, and 911 for emergencies. If you need more information on those warming shelters, you can head to our website at KATU.com. And then I wanted to say I'm in Northwest Portland. Allison Gottlieb, KATU News.
Allison, thank you for that. And you just heard it there, but we'll say it again because it's very important. Again, if you need to get information on warming shelters, you can call 211. If you ever see someone in distress or in need of immediate medical help, call 911.
And this is new within the last hour today. TriMet suspended all MAX service until further notice. In some areas, downed trees and branches are blocking the tracks. They're telling people to consider taking the bus to avoid long delays. TriMet is starting to put heavy chains on all the buses in their fleet, including shuttles. This means they can travel no faster than 25 miles per hour. Several lines have been detoured due to unsafe road conditions out there. TriMet reminding riders they will not turn away anyone who can't pay as long as they're going to or from a warming shelter.
Let's go back to our live crews outside right now. KATU's Christina Giardinelli is live in Salem. Christina, what are the conditions like where you are?
Yeah, roads are not great. You know, a lot of these residential roads are not being plowed at all. You've got at least 2 inches of snow on roads like this one. And then, of course, a slope like this, you're really going to want a 4-wheel drive if you're going anywhere on these residential roads today. And even downtown Salem, we have not seen a plow here all day. But the good news is people do seem to be staying put. We've been in this residential neighborhood here in West Salem, and most of the cars just sitting. People are not really driving anywhere. You can see those chimneys going. You can smell that smell of, indoor fire. People are lighting their fireplaces and staying warm in there. The emergency manager for Marion County also tells me that people really are doing their job and staying home unless they really need to.
We haven't had a lot of people out on the roads that are causing problems. I mean, there's definitely people going out. And everybody's entitled to. It just sometimes causes a little bit of difficulty for us making sure we get our routes open and clear as soon as possible. Because of how much and how fast this is coming down, we've actually really switched to our main roads for the time being for treatment. And so as people get further out into the rural areas or offshoots, there's going to be a lot less service for those roads over the next really 12-ish hours.
And those roads, those residential roads, what you're seeing right here, snow has been falling all day. We're getting pelted right now by, snow or ice. It's hard to tell, but it really does hit your face in a way that it feels quite like ice, and these roads can be slick. What I have been seeing is mostly four-wheel drives out there. We are also seeing ambulances and fire trucks having chains on right now, and that's, of course, a great idea. Any of these slopes that you're seeing here, you're really going to want a four-wheel drive or chains to drive around, and plows are mainly hitting those highways and main roads. We'll have coverage for you in the live coverage here in Salem as well coming up at 5 p.m. For now, live in Salem, Cristina Giardinelli, KATU News.
Hey, Christina, thank you for that. Let's get a live check of our on-point time saver traffic with our ODOT cameras. This is I-205 at Government Camp, and you can see a lot of people seem to be heeding that advice and staying off the roads. Just a lone car there headed south. Well, there's a car coming north as well, but no traffic. Steve, it's interesting. You can see the pavement there from all the wind blowing today.
Yep.
A lot of snow collection there right on the interstate.
That's a good shot there from Government Island. Our crews have been all over Portland today, keeping an eye on conditions, so you can stay right at home all toasty. You can see most cars were getting around okay with that thin layer of dry snow on the ground. TriMet buses are running. We spotted some PBOT plows moving some snow. Overnight Friday into Saturday, PBOT put down more than 8,000 gallons of de-icer. And by the way, ODOT is asking you to be especially careful on the roads and to not pass snow plows on the right. They share these videos from Trip Check, where people are flying by the plows on I-5. ODOT says that's counterproductive to the work crews are doing, increasing the amount of time it takes to clear the road. Be safe and leave room for plows to do their job there. From the Columbia River Gorge to the West Hills to Portland, neighborhood trees have been, well, I'll tell you right, no match for these strong wind gusts. Some massive old-growth evergreens have uprooted and fallen into homes and across the roads. In other areas, trees have lost limbs and crushed cars and power lines. I want to show you what happened to a tree near some of my neighbors. Watch this.
There it goes.
Oh, God.
That just happened.
I sure did. That's a tree outside the Sight family home. They had been watching those trees swaying when they decided to shoot some video, and they got it for sure, but unfortunately nobody hurt there.
Those trees are causing so many problems today. KATU's Barry Mangold is in the live center tracking the power outages mainly coming from those downed trees. Barry, lots of people spending the night in the dark as crews are trying their best to restore power.
And yes, absolutely right. And Steve, I'm showing you right now, this is a live look at the PGE outage map across the entire area. More than 32,500 people are affected by these outages, and that's just PGE alone. So right now you can just see it is a mess all over the Portland metro area. Now I want to give you a look at Pacific Power. Just about an hour ago, this number here at the in the center of your screen, this was at about 18,000. Now it's jumped an extra 10K to close to 28,000. And again, that is just in the Portland metro area. If we zoom in here, you can see that it is also on the coastline around Seaside, over near Mount Hood, down here in Lincoln City. There are outages just about everywhere, and it doesn't span to just power companies. Look at an outage map from Xfinity. I know this is pretty small in scope, but this is just a look at downtown Portland. You can see Old Town here. This marker right here is an indicator of 500 to 2,000 outages. Just a little bit south, in Southwest, you got over 2,000 outages caused me here, if we just go to any single electricity outage, you'll see that this is about some of the this is one example that has more information than a lot of these outages do. You can see the cause here, obviously heavy snow and ice, no estimated time for restoration. Over here, it's also determined snow and ice, no estimated restoration time. And that goes out just along through in the entire Portland metro area, where we have not seen a lot or really any estimates of when power could be restored. We do plan on talking with PGE and ODOT later on in today's show. I apologize for the screen there, but we will be having full coverage tonight, hearing from PGE and Pacific Power later on tonight at 5 and 6, so tune in for that. And for now, live at the live desk, Barry Mangold, KATU News.
Barry, thank you for that. Crews certainly have their hands full there. Take a look at this. Julie Taylor sent us these photos from Happy Valley up on the east side of Mount Scott. Around 8:30 this morning, a huge fir tree fell down and hit their house. Thankfully, she says nobody was injured, but you can see the damage it did there.
And the Portland Police Bureau shared these pictures with us. Look at this. A tree crushed a patrol car. No officers were in that car, fortunately. The Bureau says they were on a call at Southeast 76th and Morrison, but very, very close call there. All this debris is from a tree down on Ankeny near the intersection with Cesar Chavez, right near Laurelhurst Park. This is something we've seen all over the place today, ever since these winds kicked up. We're getting so many reports of trees down throughout the metro area. Let's get a live look now at the Columbia River Gorge, if we can, from our Visit Hood River cam, because we know that's a dicey spot. As you can see here, we can't see a whole lot, and we know it's been snowing there all day, been very, very cold with very high winds. So that's something we'll be watching as well over in the Hood River area. Stay with K2 as our storm tracker weather alert continues. And of course, it's been quite the day here. Our crews have been out there. I'll tell you, I got to hand it to those folks.
It's cold.
It is so incredibly cold. They come in, their faces are all red, but they go right back out there doing their job, so we thank them.
Doing important work,
Yep.
certainly. Thanks for joining us for this digital edition of K2 News. We'll be back on the air coming up at 5 o'clock on K2. See you then.
See you, folks.